Hey everybody, Gavin here. Welcome to my channel, RC Gavin. Thank you for watching. So for the last couple of weeks, we've been having non-stop rain here in Louisiana. Every day it's been raining, been making it very difficult to get out and go run the RCs. However, the next couple of days the rain's supposed to be stopping or at least slacking off, which means I'm going to have some real good conditions for running the mud trucks. But before I get back out there with all of them, I wanted to go ahead and take a moment to showcase them, basically, to show what trucks I have, what mods I might have done to them. That way when you're watching the videos, you know pretty much what you're looking at. You know, you won't just be looking at it like, well, what's he done to this thing? Is it stock or what? So I'm going to start with the one that has the least number of mods to it, which happens to be my Slash 4x4. Not a crawler, speedster. Real speed demon, actually. I have put the higher speed pinion on it so this thing moves as fast as it can. Now this is almost box stock, but it is the Ultimate Edition, so it did come with a few upgrades. One thing I have done to it is I coated the inside of it with Flex Seal. Flex Seal I found was a little bit better than Plastic Dip in this sort of application. I also did put tape across the body where the body post will stick up through. This has really helped to prevent really any damage to this body. I've had this RC for a few months now. It has been in some pretty good wrecks at high speed, and the only damage that has happened to this body is two splits. One here, one here. And other than that, the body is in perfect condition. The Flex Seal really helped to keep it from breaking because it added a little bit more rigidity to it without really adding any weight to it whatsoever. The only other thing I've really done to it that's other than box stock is the tires. As you can tell, these are Proline trenchers on short course style wheels. These are actually fully sealed, so you don't have to worry about whenever you run through water and water getting up in there and throwing you off, which is bad for a high speed RC. The stock wheels that came with this did have vent holes in them. After running through like one puddle, the next thing I know, the car's going down the road doing this. So I had to change out the tires, and I love these for multi-terrain running. If I was going to stick always on blacktop, always on concrete, something like that, I would look for a little bit more street slicks, I guess you could say. But for running with multiple different types of terrain, these trenchers are incredible. Now, other than the Flex Seal and the trenchers, I really have not done any sort of aftermarket modifications to this. I changed out the pinion to the higher speed pinion. I changed out the center differential. I put the center differential in there, actually. Sorry. So it does actually have 3 differentials in it, which does help it to perform very well at multiple different speeds. This thing is incredible all the way across the board. You know, pretty much any place where I can run it, it runs very well. The only thing you have to watch out for is taking a turn at high speed, which is any RC. Other than that, this is an RC that I would recommend to anyone who wants something fast with either pinion setting. If you run stock, your motor's going to run a lot cooler. You're going to get more battery life, you know, and much more acceleration, just not as much top speed. I wanted to go ahead and have a very fast RC, so I will get some video of this thing at top speed pretty soon. I plan on putting my GPS system on it somewheres to be able to get a reading of exact top speed, because I'm not 100% sure right now. And I do run 2S lipos in all my trucks. I just haven't really seen the use for 3S. It's just a little bit too much power to me. That's just breaking things a little bit too quickly. I've already had to replace the center drive shaft in this running off of 2S with the slower pinion, which makes sense because that's more torque. I blew the drive shaft here at the back, just split it wide open. So other than that though, this thing is pretty well box stock. The Ultimate Edition comes with, as I said, the metal steering components, the low center of gravity chassis. It comes with some telemetry built in. It's an incredibly good vehicle for the price, because you would spend a lot more getting the standard edition and then upgrading it. So I would certainly recommend this one to anyone, even beginners levels, because it does have the training setting. You can put it to training where it's only at 50% power, and even someone who's just getting into the hobby can control this thing very well. So one of my favorite RCs, which is why it's one of the ones I've held on to. I have had multiple RCs, and some of them I've actually sold to friends so that they can enjoy the hobby, because I wasn't getting as much enjoyment out of them. This is one that I will not get rid of. Now, on to my crawlers. We'll start, again, I'm still going pretty much least amount of modifications. This G6, Recon G6 Falcon actually has the same number of mods done to it as the Wraith. But eventually it will have more, because I am planning on doing the full night vision system that they call it, which is 5 lights that go in here, 2 lights up here, plus some reverse lights and brake lights, and even turn signals, although I don't think I want to put the turn signals in. Now, one thing I did do with this model is on the body clips here, I went ahead and put those little tabs on it, like that. See? Makes it a lot easier to pull these off, especially here in the back where it can be a little bit difficult to get to. Now, body, I haven't really done anything to. Yes, dirt, I know. However, I did get pretty busy with the rest of the truck now. The mods I'm going to show you, I've actually done with both of them, but I'll still show you the other one in a moment. First thing you might see, those of you who really know the model, is that that is not the stock motor. The stock motor for the G6, just like pretty much all SCX10s, is 27 turn Axial. This is a HPI 35 turn. Slower, but a lot more torque. I didn't need speed for this. This is a crawler, you know, so I wanted to have a lot of torque. Now the G6 is amazing because it comes with waterproof, high torque, all steel steering servo, already waterproofed ESC, the AE5 ESC, which is incredible. Not only does it come waterproof, but it also has 2 jumpers right on the outside here. Not sure if you can see. One jumper is for battery, one jumper is for drag brake. So you can switch between nickel metal and LiPo with just moving a jumper, or 50% and 100% drag brake by just moving the jumper. You don't have to go in and program. The receiver box is about 90% waterproof. I did take the time to put liquid electrical tape around the opening where the wires go in, because that was not truly sealed. It was pretty much just wide open. So by putting a little bit of liquid electrical tape on there, the receiver box becomes completely waterproof. Of course, you know your motors are already waterproof as long as you stay out of dirty water. Now, besides the motor and obviously the tires, these are the Interco Swamper 1.9 XL. So they're a little, almost as big as the 2.2s, but on the 1.9 rim, so it does help to keep the scale look, and plenty of articulation as well, as you can see. Now, other than that, what I've done is full links, suspension, top and bottom, as well as steering, all been upgraded to aluminum. Right here on the steering servo, I changed out, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that very well, I changed out the actual arm that goes from the servo to the links. This one is all metal instead of plastic like the original one, gives a little bit more torque. One downside is I did have to modify it, if you can see there where it's been cut, because it was coming into contact with one of these links. I've also changed out the drive shafts to the all metal drive shafts, and actually I think that's about it, although those of you who are in the hobby know that's plenty of work right there. I mean, that was a few hours sitting there tinkering to get everything swapped over, everything adjusted right. One thing I don't like about this model is that for some reason it's extremely loud. Now, I spent literally hours adjusting the actual adjusting the motor, the pinion, the spur, all that, to get the perfect mesh to where it's not pressing against the motor, but it's not so far away that it's not getting full grip. And no matter how much I worked on it, as soon as I put this cover back on, it acts like a microphone, a megaphone, and all the engine noise just gets broadcasted loud as can be. I mean, it's incredible how loud this thing gets between having the cover on or off, but it's incredibly useful to have the cover on and not taking it off. Now, like I said, I'm planning on doing the lights and maybe a few other little upgrades, but for now, this thing does perform extremely well. You know, I mean, even box stock, it performed very well, but with these upgrades, I found it to be capable of going over pretty much anything except for extremely tall grass. You know, as long as it can get its, as long as it has the ground clearance to get over it, it seems to get over it. And it does mud very well as well. Now, the Wraith. Exact same things done to it, except I had to do a good bit more work, because I don't know if you've ever worked on a Wraith, you know that you have to drop 4 screws on either side of this metal plate, and then the whole plate drops down, and then you have access to your motor and your transmission. However, to get to your ESC and receiver, that's all up in there, kind of buried, which means to get to it you have to start taking off, you have to take off the hood, then you have to take off a couple of bolts to get to the cross member, then remove the cross member, then you can finally get to the receiver. So this is one that when you go to work on it, you want to try to have all the parts that you want to put on it. That way you only have to break it down once. But I've had to break it down a couple of times because, for one thing, even after full upgrades, the stock steering servo did not have the power that it needed. This is a Avox digital, waterproof, all steer, higher torque than the original. It still has a little bit of trouble turning these massive tires at high grip situations, but it's a lot better than the stock one was. Now, other than that, full links, steering, everything. The center drive shafts again as well. This one also, if you can't see it from here, but I did put, which you can see a little bit from right there, I did put the exact same motor on this one as on the G6, the HPI 35 turn, which really slowed this one down because it originally comes with a 20 turn. So this is much slower than stock, but it's still actually faster than the G6 with the same motor, of course, and because of the gearing. And it's still actually got a decent amount of speed for a crawler. And it's got a lot of torque now. I mean, this thing just pulls its way over everything. If you can't get over it with the G6, you're getting over it with the Wraith. That's just the way it goes, from the way that it sits to the amount of power that it has. Now, there is one upgrade that you cannot really see that I did to both trucks that I forget to mention on the last one. I changed out the front, right through here, the axles inside. The original axles come with dog bone and cup style. These are what they call universal joint axles. So it allows for the wheels to turn without that annoying pop, 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 pop you get from the original ones. So you can be at full tilt and you're not getting that pop that you get with the stock ones. Full lock, listen to me, full tilt. But again, as you know, these are all full-time, full-wheel drive. Now, for this one, I don't really plan on doing much more by way of modifying. I actually have the steel transmission gears for both the Wraith and the G6 on order, but they're on back order, so I'm waiting on them to come in. I did change out the plug to a Traxxas on both of them because I originally started out with Traxxas batteries, and I've got a few of them, and I'm not buying new batteries just because of the plugs. I just went ahead and changed out the plugs on all my RCs to Traxxas, anyone that runs 2S LiPo. Now, one other thing I have done, which I know will be difficult for you to see, if you can see up inside that cab there, and you can see those 2 guns sitting on the back. Those guns actually come with the kit, but there is no built-in place to mount them. I had to make these rods out of some old bits and pieces, mount the gun mount onto those rods, and then mount the guns onto the gun mount. And I'm sure you're having trouble seeing that. But once I got done and everything was glued in place, it looks really cool because it adds another detail to the realism. So that's pretty much everything I've done with this. Now I am definitely going to get out a lot more here in the coming days, the crawlers and the slash. Try to get more video of mud, especially because I don't really have much video of mud. Problem is, this is Louisiana. We have clay in our dirt. Our mud has a unique property of being both sticky and slick at the same time, which means it will stick to anything else and it will be slick across itself. So once your tires get just a little bit caked up, they're pretty much useless. You got to either have enough wheel speed or be in the right type of mud or have a little bit of water in the mud. And then usually once you find mud that has water standing on top of it, it's so soft that the RC just almost disappears into it. But hopefully I'll have some good video of at least attempting a few mud puddles soon. As well as I'm going to try to find a nice big wide open flat area where I can really push the speed of the slash. So if you're looking forward to that or anything else, leave a comment, maybe give me an idea of what else you would like to see me try to do. Please hit the like or even subscribe button. It really does help me out a lot. And hopefully soon we'll have some nice videos up and you'll be able to enjoy. Until then, this is Gavin saying thanks for watching. You have a good day.